Hi, welcome to my video on solving trig equations and quadratic number 1. And this is the introduction to the quadratic equation in trig. Solve for theta 0 is less than or equal to theta less than 360. If a times b is equal to 0, then a is equal to 0, or b is equal to 0, or both a and b can be equal to 0. And this property was discussed in solving trigonometric equations or solving algebraic equations when we did quadratics. And when we do so, each factor has to be equal to 0 and solve. Well, this is the same when we do quadratics. And notice we have cos theta and sine theta. There's a degree is 1 here, degree is 1 here, so the degree of this is 2, so this is a quadratic. So we let each factor equal 0. So cos theta equals 0 and sine theta equals 0. So on the circle graph, the radius of the circle is 1. This point is 1, 0. This point is 0, 1. And at 180 is x is negative 1, y is 0. At 270, x is 0, y is negative 1. Cos is associated with the x, or is the x. So where is x equal to 0? So x is 0, or cos is 0 at, right here, at 90. And cos is 0 down here at 270. And sine is the y. Where is y 0? Y is 0 at, right here, at 0 degrees, and right here at 180 degrees. So the answers that make this true is that theta is equal to, we want to put them in order, 0, 90, 180, 270. And we have another one to do. And again, you notice I have sine times sine minus 1. That's the degree of 1. That's the degree of 1. So this is a quadratic. So we let each factor equal to 0. And so we let each factor. So I let sine theta equal 0, or I let sine minus 1 equal 0. And this one is already solved, so we solve this one. Sine theta is equal to 1. And again on the circle, sine is the y. So where is y 0? Y is 0 at 0 degrees and at 180 degrees. Y, sine is the y, so it's 0, 0 degrees and 180. And sine is the y is 1 at the 90. So theta in this question is 0, 90, and 180. That means if you sub any one of these back into here and multiply, one of these will be a 0. Okay, let's continue. So notice we're solving quadratics, and we have each factor equal to 0. Here I have two sets of brackets, so each of these brackets are equal to 0. So 2 cos theta plus 1 equals 0. Or we have 2 sine theta minus root 2 is equal to 0. So we have to solve the equation for cos theta, so the plus 1 moves over to become a minus, and divide by 2. So cos theta is equal to negative a half. And here, 2 sine theta equals root 2, divide by 2. Sine theta is equal to root 2 over 2. And we have to look at now, for each of these questions, each of these parts, I should say, we have to look at add sugar to coffee. So let's deal with this one. Cos is positive in 1 and 4, so it's negative in 2 and 3. So we have to look at drawing it in this 2 in quadrant 2, terminal arm perpendicular to the x-axis, and in quadrant 3, perpendicular to the x-axis. Cos is the x, so the x is a negative a half, and the other side is root 3 over 2 with a hypotenuse of 1. This side is a negative root 3 over 2 and hypotenuse is 1, and theta is the reference angle here is opposite root 3 over 2, so that's a 60, and that's a 60. So in this quadrant, theta is 180 minus the 60, which is 120, and in the third quadrant, it's 180 plus the reference, which is 240. And we have to do sine, and sine is positive in quadrants 1 and 2. So we draw the diagram in quadrant 1, draw the diagram in quadrant 2, and terminal arm in quadrant 1, perpendicular to the x-axis. Terminal arm in quadrant 2, perpendicular to the x-axis. The sine is the y. The y is root 2 over 2, and the y is root 2 over 2. And because it's root 2 over 2 automatically, this angle is going to be a 45 reference. This angle is 45 reference. So in this quadrant, the reference angle is 45 because the reference angle is the rotation. And in this one, we're in quadrant 2. It's 180 minus the reference angle, so it's 135. So the answers for theta in this one, you want to put them in order: 45 degrees, 120 degrees, 135 degrees, and 240 degrees. Any one of these values subbed in here for theta will make one of these brackets 0. So we put the 45 in here, you'll get a 0. Put the 135 in right here, you'll get a 0. If you put the 120 in right here, you'll get a 0. Or we take the 240 and sub it in here, you get a 0. And 0 times, no matter what this bracket is, you'll get a 0. Okay. Let's continue. Now we have a couple for practice. Again, they're quadratics, because notice you have cos times cos will give you a cos squared. So this is a quadratic, so we let each factor equal to 0. Let each factor equal to 0. And we solve. Divide by 3. So cos theta equals 0. And right here, cos theta is equal to 1. And again, we're on this circle. And this point is 1, 0. Very important to know this. We practice it over and over and over. 0, negative 1. Cos is the x. Cos x is 0 at the 90 and the 270. And cos is 1. Cos is 1 at 0. Notice we can't use 260 because it didn't say equal to. So the answers to this question, 0, 90, 270. And to do this one, we got 2 brackets, so we let each bracket equal to 0. So each bracket is letting each bracket equal to 0. And so 2 sine theta equal to 0. I didn't put 0. It equals to 0. Move the plus over, make it a minus. Divide by 2. Sine theta is negative root 3 over 2. And sine right here, sine theta is equal to 2. Look at this one. Sine, the most sine can sine, the sine graph goes like this. And that's 1 to a negative 1. So right here, there's no solution on this one because your sine cannot be greater than 1 or less than negative 1. So 2 is too big, too much. Remember, it's between negative 1 less than or equal to theta, or sine theta, I should say, which is the, and less than or equal to 1. And look at this one. again, we have to look at add sugar to coffee. And sine is the y. Y is negative in 3 and 4. So we draw the diagram in 3 and 4. Remember, sine is positive. Sine is in 1 and 2, negative in 3 and 4. Perpendicular to the x-axis. Terminal arm. And we got to go to quadrant 4. Terminal arm perpendicular to the x-axis. Sine is the y. So the y is negative root 3 over 2. And that means the x is a half, but is negative in this quadrant. Hypotenuse is 1. And the reference angle is 60, opposite to root 3 over 2. And so theta in the third quadrant is 180 plus the reference, which is 240. And in this one, again, sine is the negative root 3 over 2. X is half because it's positive. Hypotenuse is 1, but the reference angle is still 60. In quadrant 4, it's 360 minus the reference. And so it's 300 degrees. So we got no solution here. So the solutions for this problem are 240 and 300. And that's a review of when the equations are written out with the factors being multiplied. And that brings us to the end of the first video. Remember, these are quadratics, 2 possible sets of answers. And if you like my video, click on the like button, subscribe button, visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.